Some news just dropped, and I can't believe I'm even talking about it. It's early, but trust me, this is going to fire up every Raiders fan out there. Hunter Renfrow is visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, today. He's meeting with the team, and he wants to play this season. And let me tell you this, if the Raiders actually sign him, I'm going live immediately. We're going to turn this place upside down. So if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications on. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Renfrow didn't play last season. A lot of people thought he retired. There were even pictures floating around of him working outdoors, which had fans thinking, well, I guess he's done with football. But here's the thing, Renfrow has always been a smart guy. He's made his money, and maybe he just wanted to try something different for a while. But at 29, he's still got plenty left in the tank. Of course, this is where things get a little controversial. What kind of contract would he get? Is he still the same Renfrow that fans fell in love with? Because let's be real, Raiders fans love this guy. He was fun to watch, and for a lot of people, he felt like the ultimate underdog. He wasn't the biggest, he wasn't the fastest, but man, he knew how to run routes perfectly. That's what made him special, from Clemson all the way to the Raiders. And if he's really coming back, this could be huge. Hunter Renfrow wasn't just another receiver, he was clutch. That's why fans called him Third and Renfrow. When the Raiders needed a first down, he delivered. Back in 2019 as a rookie, he put up solid numbers: 49 catches, 605 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But more importantly, he kept drives alive, picking up key first downs. Then came 2020. He played in 4 games, got 77 targets, 56 catches, 656 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Again, 32 first downs. This guy wasn't flashy, but he was reliable. And then 2021? That was the year that got him paid. He had 128 targets, 103 catches, 1,038 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 51 first downs. The Raiders needed a dependable weapon after everything that happened that season. Henry Ruggs, John Gruden's exit. It was chaos. But Renfrow? He was steady. The Raiders rewarded him with a 2-year, $32 million deal, fully guaranteed. At that point, fans thought he was locked in as a key part of the offense for years. Then Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler came in, and everything changed. When McDaniels was hired, people thought Renfrow would be the next Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, one of those small, smart, route-running receivers that thrived in New England's system. But that's not how it played out. McDaniels' offense was rigid. Renfrow, on the other hand, had this backyard football style. He wasn't just running routes, he was creating them. He and Derek Carr had this unspoken chemistry. It worked because Renfrow knew how to find open space, even when the play broke down. But then came the injuries. Concussions piled up. One of the worst was in 2022 against the Arizona Cardinals. After that, he just wasn't the same. His production dipped, and suddenly the guy who once carried the Raiders' offense was barely a factor. So now the question is, can he still be that guy? That 2022 game against the Cardinals? A total collapse. The Raiders were up 20-0 and still lost. And that wasn't even the worst part. Renfrow took a brutal hit and suffered a concussion. That season was a nightmare. The Raiders blew 5 double-digit leads, and Renfrow kept getting banged up. Another concussion later in the year made things even worse. By the time 2023 rolled around, he was barely on the field. Think about it. After signing that $32 million contract, he started just 4 more games over 2 seasons. In 2022, he missed 7 games due to injuries. By 2023, he had only 37 targets, 25 catches, 255 yards, and 0 touchdowns. Not exactly the numbers you expect from a guy who was once a go-to receiver. And let's be real, it wasn't just the injuries. The team was a mess. Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell, Antonio Pierce taking over as head coach. There were some bright spots, but Renfrow, he wasn't the same. His health declined, his confidence dipped, and suddenly the guy who used to break ankles on every route looked hesitant. But now, Renfrow wants back in. This morning, when the news dropped, fans lost it. Raider Nation knows what he used to be. They remember the clutch plays, the route-running magic, the first downs that kept drives alive. But here's the big question. Is he still that guy? If he's 100% healthy, could he still fit into an offense like the Raiders? Or maybe, just maybe, would he be a better match for a guy like Geno Smith in Seattle? And if that happens, how does he stack up next to a young talent like Jackson Smith and Jigba? Let's talk about Hunter Renfrow's potential return. If you watch Geno Smith's tape, one thing stands out. When he needed a big play on third down, he looked for Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN. Why? Because he knew JSN was reliable, had great hands, and could run crisp routes. That's exactly the kind of receiver Renfrow used to be in 2021. Now imagine a healthy Renfrow back in the mix. He wouldn't be a WR1 or WR2, but as a solid WR3, he could be the perfect fit. Pair him with Trey Tucker, who can stretch the field, while Renfrow handles the short, reliable routes. But let's be real, it all comes down to his health. If we get the 2021 Renfrow, that's a steal. If we get the 2023 version, it's a risk. Because let's be honest, when Renfrow caught the ball in 2023, he didn't look the same. He'd grab it, immediately duck his head, and brace for contact. It was clear. His confidence was shot. And after suffering at least 3 major concussions, you have to wonder about his long-term health. But here's the thing. Renfrow isn't just a player. He's a locker room guy. He's the type of dude who brings the team together. My favorite Renfrow story?
He once ordered an Uber for Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, and Mac Hollins, and picked the cheapest option. Imagine that. 3 guys worth $400 million squeezed into a budget Uber. That's Renfrow. That's the guy teammates love. So, if he's healthy, he's worth the shot. If not, it's tough to justify bringing him back. The Raiders are searching for a receiver, and we've heard all the names. Keenan Allen, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, Elijah Moore. The team is exploring every option, and now Hunter Renfrow is back in the conversation. According to Ian Rapoport, Renfrow is currently living in Carolina, but today he's visiting the Raiders. Not only that, he just met with the Carolina Panthers on Wednesday and plans to take more visits throughout the offseason. Now let's talk numbers. If the Raiders want to bring him back, it won't cost much. This isn't the same Renfrow who once commanded a big contract. After missing nearly an entire season, and even facing retirement rumors, he won't be making $7 to $10 million a year. A 1-year, $2 million deal with incentives pushing it to $3 million? That sounds about right. And let's be real, if Renfrow signs today, Raiders fans are going to be fired up. It's Friday, the weekend is here, March Madness is in full swing, and if Hunter Renfrow is back in silver and black, today just got a whole lot better. I'll be keeping a close eye on this, and you should too. If you want the latest updates on the Raiders, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Trust me, I got you covered.